Kick off your slippers and hang up that shawl and bow to your partner and then climb the wall.
Noel Paul Stookey, the Paul of Peter, Paul and Mary, has released his new album One and Many, and it features songs from his previous 3 EPs, Cue the Moon, One Voice and One Guitar, and Capricious Bird. He hasn't strayed far from his folk and activist roots. Much like Simon and Garfunkel's Bookends, Noel reached out to his former bandmate Peter Yarrow and talks about One and Many and hooking up with his old partner.
The subject material is everything from the Holocaust to a goofy tune that Peter and I do that was written by Tom Paxton, one of the generals of the folk music legions, who wrote a song called If It's Not True, about 2 old men reminiscing about the future, actually. They say, I'm going to go to Barcelona, and I'm going to stay up late in a bar, and I'm going to sip whiskey, and I'm going to take Dolores home, and I'm not going to have any regrets. And if it's not true, well, what harm can it do? And I recorded it as a duet with Peter, and it's got the delightful little whimsy of 2 grizzled old farts, who are talking about that which they wish. And you can hear the affection between the two. It's nice to have friends who have transcended so much time and so much of the music machinery and still remain friends.
One of the most poignant tunes on the album is a tune called Jean-Claude, a song about the Holocaust, and he talked about how the song started out.
First of all, I wanted a French name, so it was Jean-Claude. And then who was he? Well, he was the widow's son. At first he was the butcher's son, but then he became the widow's son. And then because of the rhyme scheme and the way the lyric laid out, it became Jean-Claude, the widow's son, December 1941, Alsace-Lorraine. Okay, so now we've got him in France. It's 1941, and I'm asking myself, what's happening in France in 1941? And the answer is pretty obvious. It's the Nazi occupation. Who is Jean-Claude? Who are his friends? Oh my gosh. And one thing leads to another.
He got a little choked up when discussing the list of fates that led him to complete the song after traveling to France.
But the song, I'm now about 2.5 years into the song. I still haven't finished it. And my wife and I go to France, where she went to school. And I'm in a bookstore, and I walk over to this cutout bin, and I pick up this piece of paper, I swear, this magazine. And there on a cover, the cover's been ripped off. This is just the inside page. It's a picture of about 30 men standing in front, in striped pajamas, standing in front of a railroad locomotive. And it says Alsace-Lorraine, 1941, and when things like that happen to you, you have to get on board. And so I took it back to the States with me, and I fleshed out the song where it became a train, leaving for Germany. And Jean-Claude had a friend, Michel, that was on board, and I gave it to some friends, and between them and myself, we came up with a song about 2 young boys facing the enormous, horrific, inhuman conduct of the Nazis during the Second World War, during the Holocaust.
A rabbi in Detroit then took the song and played it in his temple at what is called Yom HaShoah, the Day of Remembrance for the Holocaust. Noel, or Paul, still hooks up with his old buddy Peter on occasion for some shows. Mary Travers, the third part of the trio, passed away in 2009.
That all sounds much better to me, and then the orchestra plays ba da 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 da.